In our last article, we discussed preparing simple quotes. In this article, we are addressing more complex quotes, the type required when quoting on a project or a larger job. The same principles apply for larger quotes as detailed in our last article, including preparing the quote within your application, adding the parts or items used, preparing the quote faster because it's easier, sending the quote by email with a print option as well, the customer's acceptance of your quote along with your terms and conditions, and all of this along with the optional ordering of stock items required for the job, and tracking all of the items for each project and automatically recording your profitability for each job, and importantly, recording all of your quotes, meaning you can follow up on every quote, and that will mean more profit. Complex quotes for projects or larger jobs. Now here are some really helpful tips that will make preparing detailed quotes simpler and easier. Firstly, break the project down into separate identifiable parts or locations. This may require several levels depending on the scope of the project. For example, plot number, where there are multiple dwellings, floor number, room, ensuite, cupboards. Where stock items are required for a job, you will already be adding each of these into your quote, and you will also want to be adding a labor charge. This might be calculated on an hourly rate when preparing simple quotes, but for complex projects, it is most likely based on a daily rate. This still takes some time to calculate. A helpful tip is to add a labor charge component to each stock item that is used on the project. This can be based on the number of minutes an average installation of each product item should take. This way, when you add each stock item, a labor charge will automatically be added as well. The more items added, the greater the labor charge. When adding standard stock items to your quote, just by beginning to type the name of the product line and selecting it from a drop-down list, at the same time, this should give you the option to select the quantity required in each location. You can select the supplier, the retail price, the purchase price, the delivery lead time, and the installation time should all be added automatically. The ability to add items globally into all similar locations at once can save a lot of time. Similarly, it will save a lot of time if you're able to prepare one specification and copy this into different locations. For example, if you prepare the specification for the design of a house and simply copy this for all other houses of the same design. This makes preparing your first draft of the quote comparatively straightforward, as all you need to do is add the items to be used. Now, when looking at an overview of the initial costing, first you should be able to see an overview of the pricing for each location within the project, as well as an overview of the entire project to assess the overall costing. You might now need to make adjustments for circumstances particular to this project. So it is helpful if you can make global updates where you adjust any one of the items in any of the locations, and it updates all of the same item everywhere else for the project. For example, update a standard cost price because of the quantity you've negotiated a special deal. Amend the installation time because it might take longer than usual. Globally, update the sale of an item based on a target market margin. For example, you might want to make, say, 20% on the margin, 20% margin on the product line. Now, you're ready to send the quote to your customer. It might also be helpful if you can access a copy of the detailed calculation and pull these down in a spreadsheet format. And there are many other benefits of preparing your detailed quotes within your application, including controlling the cash outflow for the expenditure for that project and measuring the progress of the installations for interim certificates and interim billing.